give more money to a political party that then donates to the candidate, you would end up with more transparency, because right now people who want to give a lot of money do give it to the super PACs, which, as you noted, often don't reveal their donors. That money is then given, indirectly to the candidates anyway. They can't legally coordinate, but we all know how it works in practice, which is that the super PACs will put up a private website or a public website with a very weird URL, and only the campaign has access to it. And they publish memos or polling on places and direct the campaign to it by proxy. So if we're looking to try to make the system more transparent, know who the donors are, and also understand what exactly the money's going to, because sometimes PACs are affiliated directly with a candidate, sometimes they're affiliated with a cause, and you don't know who exactly the money ends up benefiting. I think the Republican Party or the Democratic Party giving to their candidates is a more direct way of funding, and a clear way of funding things that you support.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that part. I have an objection, generally speaking, to the amount of money in our politics, but obviously if there's going to be money, the maximum amount of transparency is for the better. And also, the maximum, you used the word direct, I think, which seems to me fair enough. One of the issues, in addition to the ones you mentioned with the super PACs, is that they will watch, the candidate will plainly be prioritizing a particular topic, let's say Trump and immigration, and miraculously the super PAC, while not running necessarily a candidate ad, is running an ad about the dangers of immigration and how terrible Biden or Harris are on that. And it is effectively coordinated, even if there's not a paper trail of coordination left. So that permits, anonymous donors to give enormous amounts of money, and we never find out one way or another about it. So to that extent, it is better when there are the kind of rules around party spending that do create a greater level of transparency. Within the bigger picture, it's difficult, I think, to argue that the party should be prohibited from aiding candidates.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I'm always curious on the money in politics portion of it. Like, what would be the maximum that you think candidates should be allowed to spend or to receive from donors? What is the maximum donors should be allowed to give? Should each campaign have a set amount of money that they get, and they so that every campaign is equal? This person gets $1 million and this person gets $1 million. And then one of the other arguments that people make is that it should be funded by taxpayers, and that each candidate should get a set amount of taxpayer money that they get to run their campaign with.
Yeah, in an ideal world, I have no objection to the taxpayer-funded idea. That would be my best, that would be my ideal, that it would be just not funded by individuals at all. There would be a fund for electioneering, and that would be what it would come out of. In terms of, if we're not going to have that, what the limit would be, look, honestly, I think that is always arbitrary. I mean, if I was emperor, I would probably set it at, I don't know, $5,000 or something that isn't so, basically something that is designed not to have super wealthy people donate an amount of money that regular folks can't possibly compete with.
I am kind of surprised at the Democrats opposing this, because they do tend to do better with direct party contributions, whereas Republicans tend to, I think, have a better relationship with super PACs and getting individuals to donate to those. So I would think that this would actually benefit Democrats quite a bit, especially looking at the last election with the party being able to raise $1 billion for Kamala Harris in just a few months in the lead up to the election, a lot of that going to the DNC. So, but we'll see what the Supreme Court decides, of course. Next up on Rising, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene wants new congressional districts. Find out why.